What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Zoommates Podcast. This is the podcast where we're just trying not to get canceled. I am one of your hosts, Eden, and to my side, I got my main man, 100 grand, best friend for over 20 years. You know, in the streets, they call him Cinco the Villain. The ladies not only call him the philosopher Chocolatees, but now they're calling him Nestle Snipes. It is D'Artagnan himself. What up, Felt Five?
What's up, man? I'm passenger 57. You know what I'm saying? We getting it cracking in these streets. We back.
Passenger 57.
Passenger 57, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm Blade 1 and 2, no Trinity, you know.
Oh, snap.
that was not the good one. You feel me?
I gotta ask, do you think that Ryan Reynolds single-handedly screwed that up? Everybody gives him a lot of heat for his character in Blade Trinity.
You know, I have to see it again, bro, because, I mean, it's been a long time. I mean, the fact that I don't remember anything from it is pretty much the...
I unfortunately remember a lot from it.
I don't.
I remember a lot from it. They tried to do too much at one time, right? Like, yeah. Anyway, we can talk. You know what? I think that might be a great future Go Hot where we talk about the worst trilogies, the worst, trilogies in movies. Like,
what? This is not on the docket, but I'll tell you one thing. We could definitely talk about the worst movie franchise, like the worst movie superhero franchise, which is no doubt the Fantastic Four. But there's been no good Fantastic Four movie. Matter of fact, I was watching the cartoon like last week when I was preparing for my trip out of town. The 90s version of that cartoon was some of the corniest shit that I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Well, first, hold on, wait.
Was horrible.
Let me say this. First, you're not a Fantastic Four fan.
I am not.
I am.
I do not like them.
Okay. I am a Fantastic Four fan.
I understand what they represent, but I just...
Well, no. I'll say this much. For the first movie, the very first movie, not the sequel, even though I did rather enjoy Lawrence Fishburne playing Silver Surfer, the voice of Silver Surfer. The first movie, you also have to think what else was around at that time. We're talking Sam Raimi Spider-Man. We're talking the X-Men franchise. So from that standpoint, for what it was at that time, I try not to look at those types of movies through the MCU lens, right? Because it's hard at that point to like really go through and just be like, oh man, because I enjoyed it in the moment, right? And I watched it several times in the moment. I will say from a movie standpoint, well, Fox has messed up a lot of stuff, but for what it was at that time, I do think that it was good for its time. I thought the sequel wasn't great. I thought there was a lot of plot holes in the sequel, but overall, I thought it was good for what it was at the time. I watched it multiple times. In terms of the cartoons in the 90s, now that's my joint.
Yeah.
All them joints were corny. Bruh.
X-Men was good, dog. X-Men was dope.
But see, okay, here's the deal though. X-Men, so what you had was you really had 3 superhero cartoons at that time that were just ridiculously dope from the gate. Batman the animated series, which I will say still, even though I'm a Marvel fan all day,
that's the
Batman the animated series is the greatest superhero cartoon series, period. Followed
Justice League Unlimited.
Better than Batman the animated series.
Dog, Justice League Unlimited.
I've watched Justice League Unlimited, brother. You find me a better Joker than Mark Hamill.
But Mark Hamill was also on, in Justice League Unlimited. But what I see what you're saying. Man, the government, dog, they had government conspiracies. Like it spanned the entire like I love Justice League Unlimited, man. You got all the mythos of Superman like uncovered. Like, he was more than just a character getting his ass kicked. They were dealing with Darkseid, or whatever you want to, however you want to pronounce it. Like, It was good, man. It was great. Now, Batman the Animated Series was classic. It is amazing. I love Batman the Animated Series. It, I think, if we did a go out about this, we would have a great debate about
We'd
which
have a
cartoon
great debate
series
because
would be the
I'm
best.
sorry. Yeah,
Because, matter of
anyway,
fact,
but
we might do that later. We might do that later.
we might do it later. But
Yeah.
let me say this. So you had Batman the Animated Series, and I'm talking specifically about that at that time. The top three from the rating standpoint, from critical and commercial success: Batman the Animated Series, X-Men, which was the MCU before the MCU was the MCU, and then Spider-Man. The rest of those joints sucked.
Yeah. But the funny thing was,
Iron Man
I could tell
Fantastic Four, Hulk, all that shit sucked.
Bro, I could tell that the same animator, was responsible for the Fantastic Four cartoon. Like when I was watching, I was like, this is the same style animation. They kind of had the same dialogue cadence, but it was like much cornier. I don't know, man. I just don't like Grimm.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal, though. You're not a comics fan, right? You're not in a not to the extent of me, right? Like trading cars and all the comics and just
So what you are the comics, I am the video games. So
exactly. Yeah. So what you saw was them saying, "Oh shit, this Batman is hot, this X-Men is hot, this Spider-Man is hot. Let's just throw all of them on it." Because if you thought that Fantastic Four was bad, I'm telling you, the Iron Man cartoon series was 10 times worse.
I ain't even watched that.
It was oh my god, it was the worst shit ever. It was the worst shit ever. As a comic book fan, people who are comic book fans love the Fantastic Four, and there's a reason why there's so much excitement around it. Because the comic book fans know how dope the Fantastic Four are. They've never gotten a real shot in movies or TV. Yeah. Right? One, because it's difficult, and it's been difficult up until now when you finally I feel confident with the MCU having their hands on it. It's been difficult to make a convincing looking Ben Grimm.
That's
when
true.
When they made Korg and Thor Ragnarok, it was like, yo, okay, now I'm excited for the thing. Yeah. But because you haven't read, like if you knew how many folks are actually members of the Fantastic Four, my God, and how intricate they are to the story, I'm just telling you, they've never gotten a fair shot.
That's why I always respect the Fantastic Four, because I know what they mean to the overall MCU. It's almost like they're a cornerstone of the entire, like, 616 universe. Like they are so important to the story. I'm just saying that
they've never gotten a fair shake. So anybody who's not a comic fan would agree with you wholeheartedly. I've had this talk. I've had so many people say, well, I didn't read the comic book, so to me what I've seen on TV and what I've seen in the movies, they're a little bit boring. And based on that, I get it, because they were never done right. Johnny Storm is a beast on a whole nother level that folks ain't even seen.
Right. And it's like all I've seen is like just the Flame On guy, the Flame On, like, because I remember, like, I've seen all the cartoons. I've read some of the comics, but I haven't gotten into the lore in the way that you have been able to. Like, it's not that I am not a comics fan. It's just that I wasn't able to dig as deeply into it.
You didn't do a deep dive into it.
Yeah, I didn't do as deep of a dive into it, but I do love, comics. I love the universe. Like I'm in there. I just, like I said, I just never was able to. I wasn't one of those kids that was able to walk down to the corner store and knew when the comics came out and all that stuff, bro. Like
my shit.
Like they weren't around, where I was at. So I was, like in Sonic the Hedgehog land and Mario and shit. So, but yeah, man, like it's definitely
my
cool.
Shit.
Yeah,
that was my
man.
shit. But yeah, I know we kind of went off on a tangent, but it does bring us to one of our first topics. How have you been feeling about Loki?
Oh boy, it's just another case of that old TVA, boy. That TVA, that Loki is strong, man. Like, look, I don't want to spoil it for people, but it's not really a way for me to talk about it without spoiling something. So I will give y'all 5 seconds to fast forward or whatever you need to do.
First off, fuck
1,
that shit. Let me say
2,
this. It's been 3
3,
episodes
4,
out.
5.
Y'all go watch it.
Y'all, if you're not watching Loki and you call
Go
yourself
watch
a Marvel fan, you're fucking up. Okay, you're fucking up. Okay, because man, I'm telling you, the way that they have constructed this story and fused it in with the MCU, with the complete Marvel universe, man, like it's so seamless. It's not even fair what Marvel is doing right now. It's like they have the game figured out on another type of playing field, and they just ain't no messing with them. How you bring Loki in and you make him like think that he's going to be, you know, ruling over these other people or whatever. Then all of a sudden, these other people show up and be like, "Nah, nigga, you coming with us."
I got you. Don't even worry about it, player.
Be like, and then one of the people who is the most badass is a black woman, and she is from Lovecraft Country, and she got yams.
Ruby. I'm always call her Ruby because that's Lovecraft Country. Ruby got yams. Ruby is still, yams. I still say, one of the baddest chicks. Man, bro, I have such a crush on Ruby. It's ridiculous, man. Only because I can't pronounce her real name, but I need to learn it.
Yeah, that chocolate is undefeated. Oof.
I'm glad it was. Like, I was concerned that it was just going to be the first episode.
You're talking about that you were going to see her?
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what's going to happen now. You know, now that she had gotten like possessed and stuff by, you know, the variant. You know what I'm saying? Sylvie. Like I wonder Sylvie, who was a very interesting character. I'm very interested and intrigued and you know, to see what they do with her. She is even like the costume design with the crown with the horn missing. It's like, bro, she's like anti-Loki. Like, man, it's so dope. And then they have different power sets. You know.
Well, I will say what I liked about the third episode was that, you know, they did kind of remind you, yo, Loki's pretty dope. Don't let these last couple of episodes make you forget. Let the smooth
taste
still the god. He's still the god of mischief.
He is still the god of mischief. Even though he fucked up on that train. Even though he
was a little drunk.
They fucked up. I know that was a plot device, but man, I was like, nigga, why did you do that on the train, man? You didn't have to do that. Y'all could have just went there, but he is the god of mischief. That's what he do. You know,
right.
So
he can't help it.
I mean, he can't help himself.
I'll say this much.
But he is dope as shit. God.
Here's a few takeaways that I can say from Loki. In my heart of hearts, I already felt like after WandaVision that this was really going to be what started to merge the different versions of Earth with the multiverse. But I think that Loki just took it to a whole nother level. Right. Loki opened the door for the mergers of Earth 19999, Earth 616. Like it's bruh, it's crazy.
The Earth that we're dealing with now is already 616. The Earth that we're dealing with now is already 616, isn't it?
We're in. And I know because Jake Gyllenhaal said it in Spider-Man right now. Okay, so from the comic standpoint, if we were staying true to the source material, we'd be Earth 19999. But I think in the MCU we're 616. Here's a problem though. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but when they were reviewing all the we are 616 because when they were reviewing all the footage of Loki's life, remember when the tape ran out at the end?
Yeah.
It said 19999.
Oh,
in the credits though, the file says 616. So
you mean like in the little flash scenes and stuff?
In the credits at the end.
It was so much to take in like when you watch the end credits, like they do something very different
And
every
subtle.
time. If you notice, it's very subtle. It's very subtle. You really got to pay attention. So like I missed some of the stuff because like I only got to watch each episode one time, but I'm
Yeah.
definitely gonna go back and see, the subtleties because like they add so much. Like I feel like this, I don't think that they've ever done an intro and an outro to a show as different and as pivotal to the story as they have for Loki. You know what I'm saying? If you notice in that
Um.
little stuff, they did it kind of in WandaVision. They kind of did it in WandaVision. They definitely didn't do it in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Wait a minute. Yes, sir. You
Well, I
got to,
mean, they
if you
had
go
end
back.
credits. They had end credits, but I'm talking about just like the intro, like the artwork and all that stuff. It was cool, it was dope, but it wasn't
I get
as
that.
yeah, it wasn't as meaningful. Like you can see stuff in the story, like in the story of Loki in the outro that you're like, oh shit, that's that file that,
But
that
see,
they were looking at.
I think the difference is I think they do it like that because there are larger ramifications for shows like WandaVision
And
and
Loki,
Loki, because
yeah,
it is essentially merging. This is the process of them merging in universes, them being able to bring in all the properties that they now own. Falcon
yeah,
and Winter Soldier is a continuous story of the current MCU timeline and how that would progress, whether you had the X-Men coming, the Fantastic Four, any of those folks.
yeah.
So I think they do it for shows like WandaVision and Loki because those are like pivotal in changing the entire makeup of the MCU
Yeah.
going
So
forward.
so it's like a more of an existential crisis versus a contained story. Now, the contained story of Falcon and the Winter Soldier still moves everything forward to me, but
No.
like,
It still moves everything
yeah,
forward, but it's not
it's
going
not
to be the determining
existential.
factor. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not going to be the determining factor if we get to see Wolverine claws out in the MCU. You get what I mean?
I
Now,
cannot wait
what I
for that.
will say is how smart they are is it will connect it, because there's no way that you can tell me they will not connect the fact that
Yeah,
at one point Steve Rogers and Logan fought together.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
no way to, so it moves the dial and it keeps the story going. But to me, the best way to kind of like, okay, this is Falcon and Winter Soldier.
mhm,
This is going to keep moving, but this is going to make sure that all this stuff is weaving together. You get what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah,
it's going to bring, like, because here's the other part of it. If they didn't get those properties back, let's be real. If they didn't get those properties back, it would only been so far that they could have gone with the characters that they had.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
as characters once you get past three,
Which
4 movies, you got to cycle them out. This is what I mean by it. In game, we lost Scarlet Witch, even though she's got the solo movie coming out in a couple of weeks. We lost Scarlet Witch. We lost Tony Stark.
Black Widow.
Black Widow. My
Yeah.
bad. We lost Black Widow. We lost Iron Man. We lost that iteration of Captain America. We've only got Thor for maybe 1 or 2 more movies, and then we've got the Guardians for essentially one more after
movie.
that. So okay, you're pretty much, and then because we don't know the nature of what's going to happen with Sony's relationship with Marvel, because it's so damn volatile.
Yeah.
You never know if it's like, oh, okay, after after Spider-Man No Way Home, we might lose Spider-Man, right?
Sony is very weird. Sony is a very strange company. When they released those emails a few years back, I was just like, I don't know what to make of Sony. I mean, they do some alright stuff, but anyway, I'm not gonna go off on a tangent with
Well,
them. But
I'll say this much: Into the Spider-Verse was the greatest Spider-Man movie to me, and hands down my favorite. But
I would tend to agree. I would definitely agree with that.
But they are very limited, and I think the problem is, I was trying to explain this to a friend because he's like, "Well, Sony's been successful with Spider-Man without." Yeah, that's great. But Sony's also been very hit or miss. They haven't been very consistent. Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2 were great. Spider-Man 3, terrible. And Andrew
Amazing
Garfield's Spider-Man.
I like both of those, but that was a different Spider-Man.
I
The
love
Amazing
first
Spider-Man
one.
was different.
I could not stand Jamie Foxx as like, anyway.
He's gonna do it again.
But here's the next part. Tom Holland is an amazing Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man.
He is Peter Parker, man. He is.
But you do not have that without the MCU. So Sony can't claim this. Sony cannot claim this is all the MCU.
Yeah, because the symbiotic relationship that existed between Tom Holland and Robert Downey Jr. on screen, that made Spider-Man
everything.
That made Spider-Man be what he was. And then his interaction with the rest of the Avengers, he's supposed to be with the MC. Like, it fit. Everything fit perfectly. And then when he, you know what I'm saying, when you saw Far From Home, and what was the first Marvel movie? Homecoming. When you saw Homecoming and Far From Home, those two movies were strongly affiliated with the MCU. Very strongly affiliated. Without the MCU, that is not.
They don't work.
That's not going to work. It ain't going to work.
I think the problem is they saw the success with Venom, and I liked Venom. There were a lot of people who didn't. I liked Venom. They saw the success with Venom and said, okay, we can do this without Marvel. Here's the problem. Crazy. As much as I liked Venom for two reasons. I like that they were able to put together a good storyline, but I also like the fact that Tom Hardy was playing Eddie Brock. And if you don't have Tom Hardy, you don't have a comprehensive Venom. And if the rumors are true that roughly 80% of Disney wants Tom Hardy to be Wolverine, along with most of the comic book world, do you think he's gonna stick with Venom, or you think he's gonna go play Wolverine?
That boy, he is.
He is gonna be Logan. I don't give a damn what nobody says.
He's gonna be Logan.
So you lose him, then you have nothing. I'm sorry, nobody's gonna. You've had to push back. I think in certain situations that Jared Leto is a great actor. I did not like him as Joker, and I as much as I like the Morbius trailer, I don't think Morbius is going to move the dial. Black Cat is not going to move the dial. None of these this Spider-Verse they're trying to create is not going to be on that level.
You can't do that without the MCU, man. Like, I mean,
you cannot. It's a connected storyline.
Yeah, the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, like, you've already moved beyond that now. Because and then you have the people who are just, you moved away from that.
You also have to think about the purists. The fact that Far From Home and Homecoming are not on Disney Plus right now. Kayla is a huge MCU fan, right? She's not a fan of the comics, as she knows before time, but she's a huge MCU fan. Right. I asked her we were talking about it the other day, and she was like, "Dad, I've never seen Homecoming or Far From Home." I'm like, "Wow, really?" Which in my mind, I'm like, I would think that those were the movies that you would identify with the most. And she was just like, "Yeah, no." She was like, "It's not on Disney Plus." So you got to factor in the people that are just like the access of it, because it's not easy to find those movies like that. And I think that Sony's screwing up. So, but in the process of it, I think that the best thing that could have happened was companies like Universal and Sony kind of screwing over Marvel for years and years, because they've learned to adjust without them, which is why when it was like the negotiations broke down when it came to Spider-Man, Marvel was like, "Bro, we built this shit without Spider-Man for years. Right. This was a great add-on for Civil War." But let's be real, most of the folks that watched Civil War, people watched because they knew Spider-Man was coming. They watched because they knew Black Panther was coming.
Exactly.
And when you look at the numbers of Black Panther versus the numbers of Spider-Man Homecoming, that is not just anecdotal. That is a fact. Right. Spider-Man was a great addition to Civil War.
Absolutely.
But that airport scene would have been just fine without him because Black Panther was essential to the movie, and there's a difference. So they're not worried
Right.
about that. Oh, y'all want to take Spider-Man? Okay, fine. It's screwed up because it's our property, but we'll bring somebody else out.
Right.
Because all y'all have is Spider-Man. And when Spider-Man is no longer hot and you got to keep recasting and all that stuff, your movie franchise is going to keep going on. Once this one character is no longer hot, we're just going to roll in with another character because we have the bulk of the catalog.
I mean, Marvel is taking like C and D level characters and brought them up to A level. I mean, because the crux of all their characters are solid. All they need is the right storyline to make them compelling. I mean, I feel like honestly, they could bring in like let's see, they could bring in like the Huntress or something and make her an A-level character if they wanted to. You know what I mean? You know, all they need is the right storyline around her, and we've seen that they are able to pivot in a manner that I have never seen any company be able to pivot around, you know, such things. I'm very interested and sad, you know, to see what's going to happen with the Black Panther franchise, you know, due to, you know, the fact that we don't have Chadwick anymore. And they said that they're not recasting. So I definitely
think is a mistake.
I think it's a mistake, but I also trust Marvel. I mean, I feel like Marvel has done enough to earn my trust. So yeah, you know, we're just gonna see what happens.
They have, but the one thing about it, this is the reason that I think it's a mistake, and this is the reason that it has me worried. You're right. Marvel has definitely earned the credibility and the trust. What concerns me was Ryan Coogler a year out from the movie's release saying how hard it was, or how hard it is to rewrite this story without Chadwick in it. And the one thing that the MCU has been consistent at from the beginning is being very strategic in how they laid out their storylines. Every plot has a plot that has a plot that has a plot. And if a year out from the movie's release, I would just feel better if they push it back a year.
Yeah, I do too, but I also feel like they have the support. You know what I mean? I feel like Ryan Coogler will have the support that he needs to be able to make everything work. They'll do whatever they need to do to make this shit pop. You know what I'm saying? Black Panther is their biggest single franchise character. Honestly, they're not gonna screw this up. You know, I just don't. I don't feel like that they're gonna screw this up, even though it's kind of hard to be like, how the hell you gonna have a Black Panther without a Black Panther?
Somebody's gonna suit up. Whoever's gonna be the new Black Panther is not gonna suit up till the very end. It's gonna be. We're talking the last fight scene. We're talking like that. We're gonna have maybe. I would be surprised if we had 20 minutes of
the new Black Panther,
an in-suit a new Black Panther.
Yeah,
I'd really be surprised. So, you know,
I'm rooting for my man Winston Duke in Baku, but you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I mean, that's kind of it's far fetched. It's far fetched, but we have
it's far fetched and it's far fetched, but it's also like it wouldn't work because Black Panther is is essentially kind of a religious figure of the Panther goddess Bast, and M'Baku worships the a god, Amanon. So it would be almost sacrilegious in terms of his character to do
unless they did something on the Eternals that would allow the relationship between Bast and Amanon to be symbiotic. Maybe.
Brother, you stretch. You.
I know, man. I know. I just want to see it happen. I really want to see it happen.
Like he's gonna be sitting in front of the TV like this. Damn. No. That's like holding out, hoping that Nick will do another album. Anyway,
yeah. Or damn near me for that matter, I guess.
Let's talk about it.
Subject. I guess that brings us to our next subject. I just got a text message from an artist, like literally since we've been doing the show. And it literally it's gotten to the point where when I get texts from certain folks, it feels like it robs me of my energy. I have given everything um short of my limbs. Well, I mean, I've been using all my limbs for it too, but I've done everything short of cutting my arm and legs off for this music for the last 20 years strong. For the last
It's been
20
over 20
years.
years.
Yeah, it's literally been since I've been a teenager. Like, and it's gotten to the point where I finally decided to branch out into some other types of business. And I'm not saying that I'm quitting um for good, but I am saying that, like, I don't have it. I don't have the love, the undying love that I used to have for music. You know what I mean? Because I I really gave this everything in me, and man, it's like now and I don't know. Even at the beginning of this year, Nick will tell you. At the beginning of this year, my plan was to try to get some money together, open up a spot to record in. And then when I found out some of my contemporaries who had done the same thing on another side of, in the same city I'm in, they did it, and then somebody robbed them of their equipment. And something in me at that point kind of just snapped. Cause I mean, I was full steam ahead on renting this room. Like I was gonna do it. Nick will tell you, I was looking for
Yeah.
buildings. I was looking for space to get this done because I know if I got started doing this, that I have a skill set that, not to be cocky, a lot of
Fuck
people
it. No,
do not.
I'm gonna say it. Felt is equally talented as a singer, a rapper, a writer, a producer, and an engineer. That's where Felt 5 comes from. Like, he
Yeah.
is equally talented across all of those things. And you don't have to say it. I've seen you excel in all of those fields, right? I've seen you get success at a level higher than most of your counterparts on in all five of those fields equally. So it's not about it being a flex or not being humble or anything like that. Bro, I am a big fan of, and I've changed my perception on this. If we don't start giving ourselves our roses, nobody else is going to start giving them to us.
Yeah.
You know what? Want to know one of the main reasons, and you know me, we joke about this. Every year I tell you I'm thinking about doing an album, and 2 or 3 weeks later I'm like, nah, I'm good on it. But when I stopped in 2014, it's because I stopped. Did I reach all of my goals in music? No, but I also felt comfortable enough to walk away to know that I traveled all across this country. I performed on stages that people have dreamed of and can never and may never get to. I've been able to perform with, write with, record with people who would be considered, I wouldn't necessarily say legends in this building in this business, but they're definitely holding their place.
Yeah.
So I was able to walk away. Yeah, I was able to walk away with it, at least knowing that I had accomplished a bit. I don't think you're ever going to walk away, right? Because I think that I think at the basics of it, with the exception of maybe singing, you love all of those things equally, right?
I do
you
love to
engineering.
Sing. I do love to sing. It's just about
shout out to Morgan. I was telling Morgan about that the other day. This is the reason that you're not gonna get another R&B album out this nigga. But
I'm gonna tell you what it is.
I'm just
man.
saying.
Ever since my mother found out that I could sing when I was 13 years old, I have been put on programs. I have been commanded to be on these programs.
Just put on it. You better be there Sunday, boy.
Yeah, you gotta be, you gotta be such and such right here at this time, right? But I got something else. Well, you better cancel your plans. What? But it's your mama, so you can't really. I mean, you can't really tell her no. I mean, this has been going on all my life. Even and then, I tried to move away from it because I wanted to up my standings in other aspects of music. Like, I'm a drummer. I wanted people to respect me for my drum skills and not just be the drummer who sings. You know what I mean? So I stopped singing for a while because I wanted to, gain respect in that arena. Somebody found out I could sing because I was, when a choir was doing parts one day, I can't stand to hear bad parts. So I was like, no, the note is blah, blah, blah. And they were like, wait a minute, nigga, you can sing? So
Get your ass up here and
yeah.
sing with us, man.
So
Little man gonna be the drummer. You get up here and you sing.
Right. So from that point, I got, solicited and put on programs again. So it got to be a point where every time somebody found out that I could sing, it's like it was an overuse. You know what I mean? And I just got to the point where I was tired of it. Also, me and Nick, as you all might know, we're part of a group. We had, some situations whilst in the group that let's just say that we had offers, that we could have taken advantage of. We did not because of certain situations whilst in the group. And this is the 2014, when we mentioned the year 2014, a lot of it came to a head. And yeah, man. So I mean, that's kind of my thing. That's kind of my thing about singing. So I was like, you know what? I love hip hop anyway, and I was already rapping. You know what I mean? Like I put out my first rap album like in 2010. Was it? I think that's when Channel 5 first segment came out. It's still on Bandcamp, by the way, fell5.bandcamp.com if you want to hear it. But
it was this matter of fact, it was this month 11 years ago, bro. This is like your anniversary month.
Wow.
And at least, at the very least, I know that it was this month that you released Back to Real. It was June of 2010 when you released Back to Real.
That was a YouTube. Yeah, that was like my first foray into, doing the YouTube. If you look it up, the video is not good quality. It was not a real video. It was more like a clip video of stuff going on. But, like the song was solid. You know what I'm saying? Like I won't, shit on the song. But yeah, man, like I've just gotten to the point as far as, back to the discussion, as far as music goes, where something really big would have to happen for me to get excited about it again, because I've spent so much time working on this stuff, and you get little hits of things here and there, but nothing to sustain myself, nothing to sustain my family. I got kids to raise. You know what I'm saying? Nick has kids to raise. Like we've gone a lot of places and done a lot of things with this music. I'm gonna say it, like I feel like I'm one of the best engineers that most of y'all have never heard my work. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that to be cocky, like Nick said. We might as well just start talking.
Most of your favorites have, and most of your favorites have worked with him, and they respect him.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people don't understand, how important engineering and, music is to me. But I just gotten to the point where some big's got to happen, man. And
you know what it is, bro?
It ain't happening.
I got to be honest with you. Okay, so you probably more than anybody else know my story because you witnessed it in real time. Like,
right.
All of it.
We both know each other's story. This is the thing.
You witnessed it in real time. For the longest, I had to decide, because for a long time I was like, I don't know what I like more, performing or being on the business side of music. And as a person who was on the business side of music for so long, and just kind of seeing where the industry went, I told you this before. I was very good at it. Um, but just seeing where the business was going, I was very disenfranchised with it. I'll say this much.
Streaming.
It's one thing. It's one thing when you're able to make a living outside of music, right? But
Yeah.
it's another thing when you end up doing something that you're actually interested in, and then you turn around and you make more money doing something you're interested in than music. See, it's different because you can make a lot of money in your day job and be unfulfilled. But then if you get into something like crypto and you like, wait a minute, hold on, I've got a bigger return from this, and I'm interested in it, then it starts to open your eyes a little bit more, right?
Right.
It's ironic, music still had that grip on me, but let's be real. What happened to me in 2013? We started the business, we started our marketing agency, and in less than a year, made more money than I had made in music in the previous 18.
In one whop.
In one whop. Oh my God. In one whop. So at a certain point, especially for those who, are about the business of music, then you start to have to make a business decision, right? A lot of musicians, a lot of artists get into this and they eventually start getting into other things. And it's one of those things where it's just like, dude, you have to take the emotion out of it, right? You can love music. Our music it's funny. I was having this conversation with Morgan. You got to be a little insane because of these things that we create. These are our children, right?
Yeah.
We love these songs. We love these, we love these things like our kids. And there has to be a level of insanity, particularly because there's an unnatural amount of rejection. And even with the landscape changing and a lot of the gatekeepers no longer being there's so much of a level of rejection that you have to go through to even get there that it makes you say, dude, something got to shake.
And also the rejection it feels phony. Okay, because you see, and I mean, and this is again, I'm sorry, this is objective. I saw this as early as 3 weeks ago. There's clearly a difference in talent level that you might see between yourself and somebody else. You know what I mean? And then you end up not getting as far as those other people based on, I don't know, popularity or what, some type of nebulous
looks.
Looks, and I mean unseen thing, and I don't even think it's all the time just looks, because I mean some of these people who are excelling in the industry, one of the rappers that most people like right now, the boy looked like a cockroach. So I mean, and I'm not gonna call his name, but if you know who I'm talking about, if you
Lil Yachty, I'll call names. Fuck that. Are we talking about Lil Yachty, Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Baby? All them niggas look like a cough.
Kodak. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, but honestly, like
Kodak looked like Trick Daddy's illegitimate child.
It's not even just rap. And I mean, speaking of that, Trick Daddy, I mean that boy ugly too. But somebody
said Trick Daddy looked like an active slave. Nigga, I died.
Why did he come out his face to try to talk some shit about Beyonce, bro? Why did he do that? Oh my
gosh. Oh, they've been tearing his Instagram up too. He just gonna learn. He gonna learn.
Why did he do that? Why, dog? I mean, man, people be crazy. People are fooled by this Clubhouse. Even though they say you're not supposed to be able to record it,
people record the shit out of it.
What is this? What is to stop somebody from holding a microphone up to their phone and recording everything that you saying, even though you can't tell that they record? Come on, man!
It's stupid.
Y'all are crazy, dude.
Here's the reason I say looks, and perhaps in the next couple shows, I'd like for us to sit down and like really talk about that whole new show on Netflix. This is Pop. And I say the next few shows because I haven't gotten all the way through it. But I was looking, and we had the conversation in real time about T-Pain when he came out. I wasn't particularly a fan of T-Pain.
I wasn't. I wasn't.
But
Not at all.
For Usher to say to that man, essentially Usher told him that he fucked up music for real singers. I had a couple problems with that, and this is why I say looks, because Usher got a pass on lackluster albums and not always great vocals over a whole bunch of motherfuckers that could sing a lot better than him, but because he was Usher and he had the abs, he got a pass on that stuff. And I'm not taking anything away from Usher. I'm not saying that Usher's not talented. I'm a fan of Usher. I think that My Way and Confessions are two of the greatest R&B albums within the last 50 years.
Many Ways is one of my favorite songs. And he did that when he was a kid.
I know you love that song.
I love it.
But what I'm saying is, let's not act like T-Pain is the single biggest reason that. T-Pain came out in what, 2001? Dog.
Was it 2001? Been
shitting. Was it?
No, it was probably like the mid. He came out like 05.
Okay. So, yeah. 05. Let's say 05.
Yeah.
That's even worse.
Yeah.
Real singers have been getting fucked over by the music business, particularly in R&B. So you can't go through and say, "Oh, this fucked it up for real singers," because, dude,
that's true.
You were a part of a system, and hell, that was after Confessions. You were a part of a system, because here's the thing I know about when Confessions came out. As much as I love that album, if you weren't doing Crunk and B at that time, you remember when you redid the track for VIP for me?
Yeah,
exactly. So all of this shit was contributing factors. To put something like that on T-Pain is fucked up. I know that's a bit of a tangent. I know.
Yeah, he was like the biggest. He was the biggest part of a wave that was coming in the mid 2000s that was very problematic for. He was the biggest thing, but also motherfuckers let Case exist.
That started in 99.
That you see
Cher was the first. Cher was the first person to use the auto-tune as we know it.
She was the first person when she did that. When you believe in life after love, but Cher is also a proven talent. But Cher is also a proven talent. But I will say,
T-Pain can actually sing.
Y'all let Case get by. Y'all let Case come through and have a whole, like a whole couple of summers. With them lackluster vocals. Touch me, man, bro.
And they were using Melodyne heavily on his voice. Eric Roberson talked, because Eric Roberson wrote for him. Eric Roberson was like, Case had mad pitch problems. I'm glad that they were able to correct his voice.
You can hear that in the final product. Touch me.
You can hear it in the final product, but as an engineer, there's a difference. That's what I'm saying. As an engineer, there's a fundamental difference between auto-tune and the extremes that it went and Melodyne.
Yes, absolutely.
But they had to correct his voice a little bit more than they had to correct everybody else's. And if Case would have come out in 2005, he'd have been using auto-tune. Let's call it a spade a spade.
Let's be frank. I feel like they use auto-tune and Melodyne even on great singers' vocals. They use Melodyne. Yeah. They use that shit on Boyz II Men.
I was about to say they did on too.
And Boyz II Men are awesome vocalists. They have their harmonies are amazing. But I tell you what,
use it on Lumidee.
But I tell Lumidee just needed to not exist. That song did not need to exist at all. Nobody needed that or wanted it. Same thing with your girl Cassie. It's just.
First off, let me tell you something, brother.
I understand that the pictures were great. I get it. I get it. But at the same time, we're just talking about music here.
I had it pretty bad for Cassie for a while. Sir. There are some folks that are so fine that you give them a pass. That it just kind of is what it is. I'm sorry.
But see, that's the problem. That's the problem. Somebody might have thought that
about it up for somebody. Somebody might have thought that about Usher.
Somebody might have thought that about Usher, or somebody might have thought that about Case. I don't know.
And before anybody asks me, if before anybody asks me, before anybody tags me in the room on Clubhouse or anything like that, because motherfuckers know. One, don't send me an email because I can't read anyway. No, no. I am an Usher fan. I am an Usher fan more than the average person. Here I Stand was an amazing album that they absolutely trashed because he actually was a grown man and tried to evolve his music. Yeah. It was amazing. Most of the best Usher stuff is not the commercialized stuff that all of you are stands over. Because I'm sorry that
no limit.
Can you help me from 8701? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Bruh.
And There Goes My Baby. There Goes My Baby was a fantastic song. I mean, there were some songs, there were some B-side songs on Usher shit that was fantastic. You know what I'm saying?
Confessions Part 1.
Yeah.
He has some great music. So I'm not saying that I'm not a fan of Usher or that I feel like Usher messed up the music. But what I'm saying is the parts of Usher's career that he benefited from were contributing factors to why, they always say MTV killed the radio star.
Video killed the radio star.
I'm putting that shit on MTV. Sorry. Because here's the reason I say it's not video. Because black folks been watching rough and black motherfuckers on Soul Train for years, and it never affected their sales. When MTV came around and they're like, oh, okay, you have to have a certain look, and this is what we're going to deem popular and acceptable. That's when it changed. So that's why I don't say that video killed the radio star, because the radio star was doing great when they went on Soul Train. The radio star was doing great when they went on all these other black outlets. It wasn't until white America said, we're going to do this music television that ain't played music in 30 years. They decided what's going to be the acceptable black or the acceptable white that's on TV. And that's why I say MTV and not video.
Could you imagine what would have happened to James Brown's career if videos had been a prominent thing when he was out? Can you imagine the classics that we would not have today? Let
me tell you something.
If that was the case,
we would not have Luther Vandross. We would not have. I was watching the We Are the World video. Right. We would not have had Luther Vandross. We would not have had Ray Charles. We would not have had. Dear God, we would have had anybody. Not for real.
No Barry White.
We would have had Barry White. We wouldn't have had Gerald Levert. We wouldn't have had we would not have had
well, Gerald Levert was, we wouldn't have had Eddie Levert, which means that we probably wouldn't have had Gerald Levert.
That's true.
Because of the OJs. Them was some dudes that looked like they just came out the steel mill.
We wouldn't have had New Edition like that, because New Edition, them niggas was ugly as hell when they came out.
I mean, they were some kids.
My portion of this podcast has been sponsored by Espelon, so I'm a little loose lipped right now.
They were some kids from the projects, man. Like, I mean, they didn't have no money at first, so we probably wouldn't have gotten that one.
I saw a picture of Bobby Brown when he was like 8. He probably wasn't even 8. He was more like 6 or 7. Bro looked like he had just got off a 12-hour shift at the garage. That nigga looked like he fixed the alternator with his bare hands and a cigarette. That nigga looked like he had 2 kids and 2 wives. Like that nigga. Bruh, I was looking at that shit. I said, bruh, you got bags under your eyes at 7. My nigga, you look like you have lived a hard life. You like you are in the factory 12 to 14 hours a day. You work for GM, nigga. Lou Rawls didn't have eyes like that. I'm just saying.
And speaking of which, we would not have had Lou Rawls either.
We would not have had Lou Rawls. Like, I'm just saying. We wouldn't have had Dizzy Gillespie. We wouldn't have had none of that. But we damn sure wouldn't have had Bobby Brown.
No, they would not have.
They would have canceled Whitney for even dating Bobby Brown.
Wow.
I'm telling you, bro.
I mean, so all that is to say, we love music. We listen to music. Bro, this nigga just called me talking about some. we getting it in the studio today.
Is it the same guy I think it is?
Yeah, it is.
He's late. Anyway, I don't know.
I ain't know another day but this podcast. But yeah, man, like you know what I'm saying? Like it's for those reasons that I'm just and I mean, okay, and also like the certain personalities do it too. Like, you know, when people try to call you and be like and try to like make you do stuff, that's the quickest way to get me to not do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's a lot of personalities like that in music because they feel like that whatever's going on with them is more important than anything going on. Hey, we got to do this song. Like, for what? I mean, you got 30 other songs that ain't done shit. Like,
you want to know what my favorite?
Maybe I'm just venting right now because I'm not in a good headspace when it comes to this shit, and also I'm starting other business ventures that are gonna freaking I'm trying to freaking propel myself to another level of life and stop middling. And you know what I mean? Just, you know, shit, man. I'm 40 fucking years old, man. I'm tired of fucking just not having shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, and it's not that I don't have shit. I got shit.
You got shit.
I have shit, but but you know what I mean? Like,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like
it's a conversation we were having about where, and this is a little bit off because I know we got a couple more things on the docket, but it's a conversation we were having before where it's just like, a mutual acquaintance of ours, you know, said to me years ago that he was tired of coming in second. Right. Tired of not necessarily winning at life. Tired of, you know, I have something, but it's not what I want, and it's
not what I want.
Exactly. So
stuck in a rut for a long time.
Yeah, but I think a part of it also comes into the fact of what you have always been as an ambitious person. And I point to one very specific thing in the early days of the group, when, you know, we used to talk about dreams and goals and everything, and you used to say, you know, man, I don't want to be Midnight Love artist. Midnight Love or Midnight Soul? Midnight Soul, was it?
It was Midnight Love, because you remember
Midnight Love? Yeah.
BET used to have the Arabesque, the Arabesque movie, and the Midnight Love. You know, they coming. I was like, man, I don't want to be. I don't want to be a Midnight Love artist. I don't want to be married. I don't want to be a Midnight Love artist that comes on right before the Arabesque movie.
Exactly. You know or right before Bobby Jones Gospel starts, or right before BET Uncut. Oh man, they heard our song, but then they heard what that thing smell like. Like, it's just you know.
But kind of cheapens your value.
Yeah, and you never wanted to be just popular as a local artist, right? Just we've seen that. We've seen the popular local artists.
That means nothing, especially in this market. That means absolutely not a damn thing to me.
Exactly. Like, you know, so I think that there's nothing wrong with that. I think that if you were the type of person that were just like, let's just be real. If you were the type of person that did not aspire for more, you got off of work, you did whatever was enjoyable to you, and then you got up and went to work the next day, I think you will be fine. Right? Because you don't do, like, here's the thing, don't take away what you built. It's not a situation where you don't have shit. Like,
no, I mean, it's
much more than the average.
I have, you know what I mean? Like, I have a home, you know what I'm saying, that I'm buying, you know what I mean? Like, and I have assets, but I don't have the things. It's like I want another. It's another level of life that I'm trying to reach. That music, that I wanted music to propel me for years, and I mean, I'm talking years and years and years. I've given my all to try to get to that level, and music is not affording me that. As a matter of fact, I've had to always look outside of music to get the things that I do have. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I was just dependent on music, I would have nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If that was it, if that was it, and I had everything I had now just based on music, I wouldn't have nothing. And I can't live like that. You know what I'm saying? As much
Even
as
if
I
you
love music,
even if you didn't have a family to take care of, you wouldn't want to live like that.
right?
You
Yeah,
could do it. You can grind through. Don't get me wrong. There's
right.
nothing wrong with grinding through, but no, there's a little bit more. You just start to see more. That's
Yeah,
why people say all the time, well, Nick, I've been burning the candle on both ends. Kayla has really been worried. Like my child has truly been worried about the amount of coffee and Red Bull that I consume. And I've told her, I've started to, move back from it. But burning the candle on both ends, between work, working the hours that I work,
yeah, yeah,
working on my own business, uh, back in school, I was taking 3 certification courses at one time, right? Um,
yeah,
it wasn't just for my health, because clearly it was detrimental to my health, but it's because there's something else that I aspire to. There's a next level that I'm looking for. All
yeah,
right. And there's nothing wrong with that.
bro.
You can always drop an album.
Yeah, yeah. Keep talking for just a second, bro. I'll be right back.
Oh, you
Keep
good.
talking.
So I think probably one of the biggest things is, and it's funny because that's actually my avatar there. We got to get Felt his own animated avatar. I think probably one of the biggest things that people don't realize when it comes to that is that in reality, we have to put ourselves in position where we're making the most. And when I mean the most, I don't mean the most money. I mean the most out of the opportunity that's given to us. One of the big things that I preach all the time is if you're not constantly developing yourself and trying to level up, you cannot get mad when people soar past you in life. So I think to Felt's point, and to a larger point, those of us who's involved in music, especially on the independent level, we had to learn so many different things in an effort to get to where you were. Right when you're starting out, nobody is trying to pay you for any services, nor are they trying to provide any services to you without charging you through the roof. And I mean, they have a skill set. They deserve to charge what they charge for that service. In the group, the reason that Felt, myself, and our other member Keith have so many different talents is because for so long people would not do things for us. Felt produced 80% of our first album, and it was his first time producing. He actually had to lie to his parents and say that he was going to be playing at church for them to buy him a keyboard. Um, but he took that and he learned how to produce. I learned graphic design because nobody would give us at least a little bit of a discount like they were charging back then. Graphics were through the roof, so I just sat down and I learned how to do graphics. Keith and I learned how to promote because nobody would promote it because they didn't believe in what we could do, so we were out there flyering every day. And we've taken all these things and we've turned them into businesses that have worked for us since then. And even though the nucleus of it is music, fundamentally, uh, music wasn't the thing that sustained. Nearly everything else that we learned in the process of it sustained us more than the actual music part itself. So that I think, to me, that's probably one of the biggest things that came from it. And that for me was the first time that I learned that everything I'm doing outside of music is sustaining me more than music. So let me start looking into some other things and seeing, okay, what else is it that I'm good at? Like when I wasn't performing and I wasn't on the business end, one of my talents was writing. And I ended up writing for soultrain.com for 5 years. And I was totally fine with that because I'm still connected to music, but I'm using a skill set that generated income on a monthly basis consistent for me. So it's not to discourage anybody out there that's into music. It's not to discourage anybody who wants to make music their primary
Yeah, yeah.
deal.
Please.
Yeah, but we and we are objective enough within ourselves to know that we're a little bit jaded. Music has changed a lot from when Felt and I first started.
Yeah, yeah,
It's changed a hell of a lot.
yeah. I mean, it was not based on stream numbers. And it's very strange to me. It's almost like we're competing. What are we winning here? We're racing. A lot of us are racing towards the bottom because a lot of us are looking for Spotify streaming numbers, and I mean, you can very easily get lost in that race. I mean, because even I was doing it. man, how many streams I got. When in reality, when you calculate those and try to turn those streams into dollars, they don't add up. You know what I mean? And that's a hurtful thing. It's almost like the companies have tricked us into giving our art away for just social capital, but
Exactly.
not actual capital.
Let me
But
tell
we
you something.
need music for everything. Music is in all of our aspects of life. It's in all of our movies. Hell, it was at the start of this podcast, and if you're listening to the YouTube version, I didn't do that. You know what I mean? That's music that's needed for that. You know, you need music for everything. And they don't treat it
Listen,
with that reverence.
listen. This is why, and no diss. I my two favorite times in music. Um, my two favorite times in music were probably when we were performing as a group and we were on the road. Like we were on the road every weekend all across the southeast for a
Those are good
year.
times. Those are good
It was
times,
it was a
brother.
good time. But my
Yeah.
second favorite part happened to be like '07, '08 in Atlanta.
Mm.
Um when we had venues who supported soul artists. We had Sugar Hill, and BET Lyric Cafe was filming at Sugar Hill, so it was like the hot spot for all the soul artists. Man, PJ Morton used to come down and perform all the time. Eric Roberson, Raheem Devon, Anthony David lived there. There were
Wow.
so many dope artists that came through. But the dopest part about it was the performance opportunities. When I did that Life, Love, and Lust album, and I printed up my little copies, and I did a show, I would dare you to get past me without buying a CD, or at the very least me getting your email address, because I got a connection to you. And when I could sit in a cafe of 50 people and sell CDs and make more money than I would if I had 10,000 streams on Spotify, that's one of the reasons I'm so disenfranchised with this shit,
Yeah,
man.
that's ridiculous.
I
I mean, they're literally getting us to give away our art for free, and I mean, it's a lot of people who are making it past the threshold, and kudos to them for that. I feel like some of them are the reason. Well, I don't. You know what? I'm not even gonna blame the artist. It's not the artist's
no,
fault.
they've
You know what I
adjusted
mean?
to what the industry did.
They've adjusted to what the industry has done, and honestly, there are gatekeepers, um, who allow some of that stuff to get through. And
Yeah,
I don't know, I don't have concrete proof that it's purposeful, but it feels purposeful.
on a
You
label
know what I
level,
mean?
it is. On
Yeah,
a label level,
yeah,
someone like you. Here's the thing: someone like you is not good for a label, major or independent. Not against your talent, not
yeah,
against your skill set, but against your skill set. Because if I know that if I sign Felt Five
I'm
to
self-contained.
RCA, exactly, I
I do it
can
all.
I can let him just literally nothing fundamentally has to change other than my logo is now on his product. He can still go back, sit down in the very same room that he's in now and craft an album, and there's nothing that legally I can justify that I make money off of it for.
Yeah,
So yeah, that whole we want you to build your own this that, they say that shit, but they really want somebody that they can absolutely maximize how much money they can make off of them. You're not
control.
attracted to labels.
Yeah, yeah.
You're
And
not.
it's and the funny thing was, when I was trying to pick up all these different skills, I was picking up all these different skills and trying to master these different skills because I thought it would make me more attractive to labels. I was like, yo, who wouldn't want an artist that could rap his ass off, who could sing, who could engineer his own records? You know what I mean? And
Someone
and
someone
write.
whose business model is making a large chunk of money off every one of those things.
Yeah. Like, I mean, and those are the things that I didn't know, as a young cat. And I'm not saying that y'all shouldn't grow your talents and learn things that you're interested in. That does make you powerful. That does allow you to be able to, write your own ticket as far as releasing your music. If you want to release music to the world, you know, learning all those skills, you can write your own ticket. Like I can release an album anytime I want to. The only problem is I got kids to raise. I have a wife. I got a house note. You know what I mean? Like, and in order to keep those going, I can't rely on music. And also, when it comes to music, you have to pay for promotion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Oh,
mean?
it's
Like,
so blue. It's
it's like I could release an album at any time. I have an album that people can listen to. I have two of them. I mean, but how many people have heard it?
Yeah.
You listening to this podcast right now. Have you heard my album? Have you heard Nick's album? You know what I mean? Like, have
It's
y'all
everywhere.
y'all know us? It's everywhere. Nick's album is everywhere. Like the Soul Experience. That was You have three albums.
Three. I have
You have three
Education.
albums.
I have my self-titled EP, and then I have the Nick
Mhm.
Eden Experience.
Right.
And if you're a real fan, then you also remember Press Play and Flight 1980. But
Right. Right. Which I have produced for. I produced
Felt
songs
5 has
with
been
Nick.
on every project that
Yeah.
I have ever done, and Felt
Yeah.
5 will be on any project that I have ever done. Did.
I mean,
Period.
and I mean to quote one of my favorite rappers, I've done it before. Like, I still will spit whenever the spirit hits me, but fuck if I'm gonna be doing this shit till I'm 60. You know what I mean? And that's not to say that I won't keep going. Yeah,
Hey,
that's a
hold
fun,
on. That's a word.
That's a Fonte
word.
bar.
Yeah. Okay, that's a word.
I
Anyway,
still spit whenever the spirit hits me, but fuck if I'm gonna be doing this shit till I'm 60. Like, that's a Fonte bar.
let me tell you something.
One of the people in my top 5.
We are blessed and fortunate to where we got to see a lot of the changes, and we've been able to enjoy some success. And I don't want to stay on this forever.
And we adjusted.
We could literally,
bruh. And let's not even talk about all the things that we did to adjust to these changes. We didn't just we haven't just been like middling and just complaining about this. This is probably the most that we've talked about this in public at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I don't want to be
Absolutely.
one of those people that's like, oh, y'all, music stuff. I'm not one of those guys. I love music, dude.
I don't love it like I used to.
But you know why? The reason why is because of all the things that it's taken away from us, all the things that it's taken out of us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, to be honest, I will.
It's hard to continue to love somebody that keep on beating you.
Man, look, let me tell you something. On the Nick Eden Experience, I have a song called Second Chance, and I talk about that because I know in my pursuit of my career, I've fucked up friendships and relationships. Hell, Felt and I even fell out for a little bit.
Yeah.
We got it back. We got it back, but
obviously.
But I fucked up a lot in the name of this is my choice, and I'll end my part on this because I don't want to stay on it forever. We got a couple more things we got to get out of here. It's one thing that Steve Harvey said years ago, and I know I get it. Everything, motherfuckers hate Steve Harvey. That's fine, but I'm also a person that can take the message and apply it without necessarily being sired to the messenger. He said, a lot of us confuse our talent with our gift, where we want to make our life based on our talent, but it's really our gift that is supposed to set our purpose in life.
Wow.
Right? So
wow.
When you think about it, I have a talent for graphic design. I have a talent for music. I have a talent for these different things. I've known for a long time what my gift is. I've just never fully monetized my gift. That's the God honest truth. So when my one of my closer friends from my childhood said to me just the other day, dude, you should be a millionaire right now. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm the reason I'm not, because I know my gift is I can sit in front of somebody on the phone with somebody or even just chatting with them, and by the time they're done speaking to me, they feel better, they feel energized, they feel inspired to go and do what it is that they want to do. I know
I am
that's my
proof of that.
gift.
I'm proof of that because like Nick will tell you, like we've had conversations, and I feel like sometimes after our talks, I feel like I can go take on the world. You know what I mean? Like this is an inspiring brother right here. And I mean that. That's definitely a gift that he has, and to and conversely, my gift is just nose to the grindstone work. You know what I mean? Like I I will,
Yeah.
I'm one of those type of people who, if I'm when the switch is activated and I'm motivated to do something, I'm gonna keep going. Like, I'm like the juggernaut. I don't stop until it's done. You know what I mean? Like, I'm running through walls. Like, I mean, like I told Nick yesterday, like it's a new business venture that I'm looking into, and something clicked in me like Friday, because I've been kind of middling with it, and like, okay, what I need to do, and something just happened yesterday. I mean, well, Friday, and I was just like, you know what, enough. And I've been going full steam ahead, you know, ever since, in the research hole, like just burrowing through there like a gopher. You know what I'm saying? Like,
wait a minute. Let me tell you how much I can attest and have seen this brother do this time and time again.
It's the reason I know crypto so well.
When we were in college, if you are 35 to 40 and up, you remember the Nokia phones.
I know where you're going.
This brother literally started a business, and called himself the Lord of the Rings, because he could make a ringtone. He could, because you in the Nokia phone, you could actually make your ringtone yourself.
Yeah.
The problem is nobody knew how to do that shit.
Nobody knew how to do it. All it was a bunch of.
Oh my God! It didn't matter what the damn song was. It didn't matter what the song was. He could do that shit.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind, because I was like, hold on. And I remember saying then, this was early 2001. This was before he started producing. I was like, man, the moment Phil gets in front of a keyboard to learn how to produce, he's gonna shut this shit down. And damn.
Somebody else told me that my homeboy's uncle told me that too. Like, before I started doing that, when I was doing the Lord of the Rings thing, he was like, man, we're gonna get you in front of a keyboard, man, and a computer, something, man. You're gonna make records and stuff. And I was like, I don't know how to do none of that shit. I just sing, man, and I rap. I didn't know how to do none of that shit. I was like, man, like I can never be as great as DJ Paul and them in 3-6 Mafia, man. Like I'm never gonna be a producer.
Is that the bar? Wait a minute.
That dog. I mean, he said it because and the reason I remember, because like my homeboy, like he had like the 15s in the trunk, and we were just listening to some 3-6, and he's like, bro,
my God.
He's like, man, you gonna be hard, like doing that, man. Because he was listening. He was like, man, how you do that? Because the song I did was the Bubba Sparks "Ugly" for his phone. That's the one I programmed for his phone. And I was able to get the little. I was able to make it sound like just, the timing was right and everything. Mind you, the program is nothing but some numbers. If it's just some numbers, and you don't even know, like if I looked there, I'd probably be like, how the hell did I do that? But I mean, he was just like, bro, man, Yoshi, you crazy, dog. You gonna do this. And then I guess, Nick said the same thing. It's like when he gets in front of a keyboard. So I remember I begged Pops. I was like, yo, man, can you help me get this Triton?
You lied. You said you were gonna play at church. You lied, sir. I was talking about that when you were off camera. You lied. You said you were going to play at church. You lied your ass off. Let's start there.
Yeah,
I mean, learn so I can play in church. You lied on the Lord. But what I'm saying is, anyway, I mean, you played in church. You just played drums.
Yeah,
But,
I ain't lie. I just shifted the truth.
You lied about that damn keyboard though. Anyway, so look, we don't want to necessarily go over. We still got to get this go hot in, man. We got to get this go. We talk about this music stuff all day, but we got to get this go hot in.
Go hot. I mean, we still gonna be talking about music because the go hot is based on legendary artists. The legendary artists today, you know what I'm saying? We had the legendary go hot where we had the verses of Patti LaBelle versus Gladys Knight, which was incredible. Those are two queens, two giants, of music. Also, we have EWF, Earth, Wind, and Fire, versus the Isley Brothers. Also, two giants of music. And also, we have the last legend, because we only had 3 legendary verses. So, the go hot is going to be out of these 3. And the other one was Teddy Riley versus Babyface. I only think of you on 2 occasions. Now, out of those 3, which one of those go hot and which one goes home? Now, we only got 3. So one is not going hot. Nicholas, who goes hot and who goes home?
Okay. So the first one that has to stay, not just from the theatrics of it, but from the pure standpoint of one of these 2 was the most important to me musically that you can ever think of. So Teddy Riley and his fucked up audio versus Babyface has to stay. It has to stay. The memes, my God, the memes alone. But if there's no Babyface, period. Babyface. There's Teddy. You cannot.
I knew I shouldn't have done this. I knew I shouldn't have done this.
I knew I should have done this. Social distancing. That's the reason I don't have anybody.
He was so shady, dog. Oh,
he was so shady the whole time. And then when you heard him, and he like, the fuck? And I was like, wait a minute, sir.
Teddy, what's going on?
So yeah, they have to stay. So when it comes down to Patti and Gladys versus EWF and the Isleys, this one hurts.
It hurts.
Let me tell you why. This one hurts because if you remember, in 2012, I appeared on the first season of rebooted BET Apollo Live.
Yes, the man was on the Apollo stage.
My celebrity judges were Dougie Fresh, Mike Bivens of New Edition, and Gladys Knight.
Gladys Knight. Oh,
Gladys Knight. I got my feedback on stage, but I also got some amazing feedback from her backstage, which I will cherish for the rest of my life. I love, and don't get me wrong, I love Patti, but I don't have a personal story about Patti. I absolutely love and adore Gladys Knight. She is one of the most pure voices that I've ever heard in my life. Even at the ripe young age of whatever her age is now, she is still a sexy woman.
Yeah, that is a beautiful woman. Her and Shaka Khan have broken so many men's hearts.
Man. With all that being said, and my mom is a Patti stan.
Mine too.
Let me tell you how much.
My
Let me tell
mother
you how
was
much
too.
Let me tell you how much of a Patty stand my mom is. You don't bring store-bought desserts into my mama's house. There's only one store-bought dessert that has ever made its way into my mother's house.
Patty pie.
Patty? Them
Patty
damn
pie.
pies. Let me tell you something. Them pies, Nick. Them pies, boy. Look.
Patty pies.
So yeah. That being said, I cannot, in good conscience, pass up Earth, Wind, and Fire versus the Isley. But don't know what the Isleys mean to me.
Man. Oh man.
So with that being said,
Jesus.
With that being said, as much as I enjoyed Patty versus Gladys, as much as it reminded me of my childhood of watching my mom sit down with her friends and just talk, as much as I purely love their music,
yes,
Patty versus Gladys, gotta go.
Oh my God, it hurts my soul. It hurts me. It hurts me, man. It hurts me, dog. Like I can't do it, man. I'm gonna tell you, because my mom is no longer with us. You know what I mean? Like, she's an ancestor now. She's transitioned as of like 2017. So I mean, it's purely for that fact that I can't agree. You know what I'm saying? I have, like, when I saw the Patti LaBelle Gladys Knight versus, I went and put a suit on.
I remember
because Patti LaBelle used to come to Alabama during the week of the Turkey Day Classic, and my mom and dad would always go to see her every concert, and they would always dress to the nines when they went to go see her. Like, I'm talking about, Pop had on a tuxedo with the bow tie. Mom had on the finest evening gown. And anybody who knows my mother, who knew my mother, knew that her dress, like my mother's style, was it was envied by anyone who ran across her. My mama knew how to dress.
Let me tell you something. Miss Vera, I said this when Miss Vera passed. I mean this to this day. Miss Vera was the most poised woman that I had ever met in my life. And her wardrobe game.
Yeah.
Yo, Miss Vera stepped out like she was going to the Grammys.
Yeah.
It was not a game, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
and it never was a game. It never was a game. Let me tell you something about my mama. On Saturday nights before church, she would spend probably from 6 p.m. like when she came back from the mall, because she used to always go shopping on Saturday. She spent about 6 p.m. to about 1 o'clock in the morning trying on different outfits. And she would call me in there. How does this look? And then she posed, and she posed like it was a thing that we did on Saturday nights.
Man,
you know what I'm saying? Like, so because of those fond memories, and
that's
knowing,
why you put that suit
like,
on. I get
Anita
Baker,
and Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight, 3 of my mother's favorite artists. I cannot, for my mother's sake, I can't let them go. So as much as I enjoyed the spectacle of Teddy Riley and Babyface, and it was a spectacle, and also what was a spectacle was Steve Harvey putting on Ron Isley's coat and smoking them cigars and just acting like, a bunch of my uncles just act. They just sitting, they felt like it was a gathering of my uncles on the porch. I loved it. And as well as much as I love EWF and the Isleys music, Oh man, this one hurts. I gotta let Teddy and Babyface go, man.
Oh God,
I gotta let Teddy and Babyface go.
Oh,
So
man.
mine differs a little bit, and I mean this hurts. I'm telling you, this
Is that
is
close?
this
It's
close?
a hair.
Is this close? It's a hair. It's a hair because I'm telling you that spectacle, the way Steve carried on stage, combined with the goodness of that music, I could just see, I could smell the barbecue. I could smell the liquor.
I didn't have my shades this week.
I could smell the liquor on Steve's breath. I could
Cleveland, Ohio.
I could hear
1972.
I could hear the cicadas flying around in the background.
Not the cicadas.
I could hear
God.
I could hear the grasshoppers flying around. I could smell the ribs. Because of that, I could not get rid of the Isleys and Earth, Wind, and Fire, because I mean I've been to too many barbecues, cookouts, or whatever you want to call them, with that energy. Yeah. And then Patty and Gladys, that helped. That evening I felt like my mama was here with me again. So I couldn't get rid of that. Like I told you, I put on a full suit for Patty and Gladys, because that's what you do, when you have legends like Patty and Gladys. You put on your best. You can't just be sitting up there in basketball shorts. You can't sit up there in basketball shorts and the t-shirt.
I'm in basketball shorts. Hell, I'm in basketball shorts and t-shirts.
I'm in basketball shorts and t-shirts now, but y'all ain't Patty and Gladys. I mean, I love y'all, but y'all ain't Patty and Gladys. So Patty and Gladys, I'm putting on a suit and I'm putting on the finest, the tie, all that. I'm doing it. So
not a clip-on either.
Not a clip-on. Oh, I know how to tie my tie. Any man in this house, or I'm raising a son, he knows how to tie a tie. So I mean, it's got to happen. Anyway, that's the go hot for the day. Teddy Riley, Babyface, you got to go. I hate it, because I enjoyed it, but go hot to go home. They go home.
Man. Instagram at the Zoommates, at Felt5, at Nick Eden for our personal pages. YouTube, the Zoommates Podcast. And if you are listening to the audio version, head over to www.anchor.fm /the Zoommates. Felt, what you got up this week, bro?
Bro, I don't know what I got up for this week, but I will tell you this. This new mic sounds very crispy. I love it. Thank you for the recommendation for the Zoom ZDM1.
Mm-hmm.
I think I said it right. Yeah,
absolutely. Wonderful podcasting, Mike.
Yeah, I got my box too. It's my first time setting it up today.
They not paying us. Mic boxes.
They not paying us. They should be paying us though. But,
they should be paying us. But you know what? That's all. It's all good. That's another thing that we got coming up. We have some affiliates, some sponsor stuff coming over the next few weeks. So just be on the lookout for that. And we appreciate it if you could. If one thing I will say, and I did this more so with my my print on demand stuff. I am not a big fan of promoting stuff that we have not tried personally and we have not paid our own money for. So that's I think that's probably the most genuine way to doing this. Now, look, don't benchmark this now, because if we turn around and we cut a deal with a major podcaster and they just start throwing shit in our podcast, I ain't tried all that shit. So I'm just saying, for right now, at the level that we're at now,
we will sell out. No, we will sell out. Don't get it twisted, okay?
What Rodney Carey? We sold out.
We sold out for the right price. We will sell out, okay?
Hey, but we still gonna keep giving you that good Zoommates,
absolutely,
that good Zoomy feel. So
still gonna be us,
and yeah, we definitely gonna be us. Don't forget, if you're not a part of the Facebook group, we're gonna start loading some stuff up into the Facebook group again this week. Sure. So look for the Zoommates Facebook group on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram again. I don't necessarily want to make my way in Twitter in these Twitter streets right now with the Zoommates, but who knows? You may see us pop up somewhere.
We'll get there.
But yeah, eventually. But as for right now, one up, one down. Felt always a pleasure, my brother. We will catch you all same time next week. Take care.
Peace.
Peace.